Hello, welcome to the Climb to 1800. It is 1 a.m. for me, but I am still going to record because I really want to do this as many days as possible. So let's find a game with the caveat that I might not be playing peak performance. But you know what? Playing with low performance is better than playing with no performance at all, and that is what I would be doing if I skipped today. Yesterday, I graduated high school, so I'll give myself a pass for not uploading. I had the senior scavenger hunt, a lot of fun with my friends. But today, back on the grind set with the right mindset. I'm going to frame that quote. And one thing I'm enjoying is that it's taking longer to find games. That means that I'm getting into the higher and higher percentile of players, or it just means that I'm playing at a weird time of the day when nobody is on. But if you have noticed, and this is pretty instructive actually, I'm only playing against people who are at maximum net minus 25 elo from me for two reasons. One, I don't want to play against anybody who is substantially lower. And, oh, okay, and I was about to cut, but we do find somebody. And they play d4. And we are going to go into a maybe King. I mean, I'm going to play King's Indian. It depends on what they play, if it's classical King's Indian or if it isn't. I've been a very bad boy about reviewing my courses. So we'll see how much I actually remember. Okay, so this is very classical stuff so far. We'll see if they castle. Okay, they do castle. So this is becoming very classical. Now there's a bunch of moves. There isn't just okay. That's one move. That's the move I always forget what to do against. I'm pretty sure I'm meant to just occupy this square, but there are a lot of lines where I'm not meant to do that. No. Against d5, I'm pretty confident that I am meant to play knight to c5. Yeah. In fact, I'm almost sure of it. But much more traditional is to play bishop to e3 first or queen d2 first. So a little bit taken aback, but obviously d5 is totally fine, except for the fact that it gives me knight to c5, which is the right move. I'm now remembering. This also shows a flaw in my prep because maybe 90% of my studies from this position go against bishop to e3 or queen to c2. Okay, so that's a pretty basic move, just defending the e4 pawn. Now, in my opponent's dream world, he would play b4 now, kicking out my knight. However, obviously I do not want to let that happen, so I'm going to play the pretty much automatic a5. You see this type of move a lot in these positions, and pretty soon we're going to play for c6, trying to break apart the center a little bit. Or maybe opponent does something crazy and then we have to adapt, which is always a possibility. And I mean, there isn't too much to say yet because it's all so tried and true. Okay. Now that he's played a4, and I don't think that's a very good move. He's given up the b4 square almost entirely. So in the future, if he ever kicks me out, well, first of all, I'd take that. But second of all, I can always just drop back and end up here. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because I do think that c5 is probably better to occupy. But I'll keep that idea open for the future. And we are going to play... actually, we're going to play queen to e7 first, keeping eyes on the e5 pawn because that's a very common move in the queen's positions. And I also want to be able to bring rook to d8. But actually, I take that back. Let's first play c6. Because opponent isn't as developed as I think he probably should be. He wasted a tempo on a4. I don't think that was the right move. Obviously, totally fine at my level, but theoretically, I don't think it's a good move. Okay, he pins my knight. Not the scariest, to be honest, because I can always just play h6, and I wanted to start a kingside initiative anyway. So I'm going to play h6, and I mean, if he moves back to h4, I might even be playing g5. Yeah. Or... oh, I have a tactic. I could play queen to c7, and then takes, and if he takes with this pawn, I can actually take with the knight because after takes, I take the queen. So let's delay kicking the bishop out for 1 second and play this move. It's might not look like much of a tactic, but it is pretty sneaky. Obviously, he can avoid it by just taking, but either way, I do think that my queen is better positioned on c7 because it allows the rook into d8. And I didn't really see a future for it on e7 when I thought about it more concretely. So improving moves with tactics, always love to see them. Always love to see them. And then next move, if he does avoid this threat, which I'm pretty confident that he will, I will just end up playing probably h6. And by the way, he can't move his queen too easily because, again, it is defending the e4 pawn. So he has to keep that in mind. Now, my queen is loose too, so I don't want to forget that, because in many games I've forgotten that my own queen is loose, and then I've regretted that deeply in later positions. Okay, wow. I suppose that he wants to get to d3 to attack this square, but I'm not going to give him a chance to do that. I'm going to take right now, and he has to take this way. And then after taking that way, yeah, that looks promising. Takes. Okay, first of all, let's take here, because I think that in every scenario I'm going to take there. And he can't take with it. I mean, he could take with the knight, actually, but then that would just be an equal trade. So he can do that. I actually forgot he could do that, to be honest, but after that, it does look like I've avoided the pin without wasting any tempo, and instead he takes with the pawn, losing a what's it called? Wait a minute. I was going to say that he loses a pawn, but actually takes... Yes, he does lose a pawn, because if he takes there first, I just take with my knight, so... Oh my gosh, no, I see what he was doing. He moved his knight back to defend his queen. His queen is defended now, actually. I almost missed that. That's sneaky. So now if I take, he can just take with the knight, because I can't recapture the queen. Wait, actually, takes, and I still take his pawn in the end of that line. Or takes, queen takes, I take here. Takes, I take the queen. He takes me back. And then I take his knight back. Wait, let's count the material. I lose this knight. Wait, so here takes. So I've lost a knight. Now we're equal, and after I recapture here. So that should actually still be fine. Yeah, this definitely still works. Yeah. It looks like I am still up a pawn, even though he thought he avoided my tactic. He did not. Feels good to be up a pawn so early on against the 1700, but I mean, pawns at my level don't mean the world, unfortunately. So we're just going to play the moves. And maybe right now he's realizing that he did, in fact, not lose a piece because he can take here with check. Wow, I just blundered. Diabolical. Diabolical. I lost a piece. In my calculation, I totally forgot that he could capture my knight with his knight, giving check in the process. Wait, no, it's still even, because even if he captures here with check, I still have to recapture, then he still has to capture my knight. Yeah, okay, so I was fine there no matter what. Okay, I panicked a little bit. What I was saying was that if he captures here with check, I capture with the bishop. Then he can't capture with his bishop because my queen would be able to move. So we'd have to capture the queen first. Then I would take his bishop, and the material would still be equal. Okay, so he comes in and attacks my rook. But he doesn't actually threaten this pawn because, so I'm just going to slide it to the one square he can go because this pawn is defended. Now, I mean, the only safe square for him to go to is h4, so I assume that's where he's going to go. And then I'll probably reposition my knight to maybe even c5. The key here is for me not to lose my pace. Not to lose pace. Okay, yep, he goes back. Now, if I go here and I assume that it'll probably try to kick me out, do I have any tactics? I don't believe I do. I could even play for f5 now, but I don't see any reason to do that. Instead, let's activate my my bishop with the idea of playing knight c5 on the next move, putting a double threat on this pawn, which will be hard to defend because he wouldn't be able to play b3 because I would just take. So I like my position. I'm not going to speak the world of it because it's good, but it's not phenomenal just yet. And I've learned that arrogance is not great in chess because it tends to make you over-evaluate things that really aren't even that great for you. For example, even if I play knight here, he can defend it with b3 because after captures, he can actually attack my knight. Oh, but then it goes back and it defends the pawn, so actually never mind. I was going to say that I don't win a pawn, but I think I do. So let's go here. No reason to think too much. And it is nice that his pawn is actually blocking his own attack on my d6 square. And the best he can really do is put his bishop here and then double his own pawns. But even after that, it looks like his pawn structure is terrible because he'll have doubled pawns and an IQP. And an IQP in some positions is interesting and good. In this position, I do not believe that is the case. Because, I mean, look at it. It's not a... I mean, maybe in the future it'll become an asset, but right now it's certainly a liability. Maybe it's withholding me a little bit, like being a slight nuisance, but if anything, it's kind of stopping his attack on my center. And then I'll be playing for f5, and maybe I'll start my own pawn push. Who knows? And we are up on time, so opponent is definitely realizing that they're in a little bit of a pickle right now, so to speak. Maybe they thought that they'd b3 and then forgot that I could drop back to c5 after that, defending my own pawn. And his knight is pretty well kept because it can't jump in too easily because of my own pawns. So he has played the move, and we're just going to take. Okay. Now, I really don't want to give him this push, weakening this pawn forever. So I'm just going to push to b6, not going to think about it too much. Because, again, if I didn't, I think he probably would have played b6, giving me two weaknesses for a long time. And I'm trying to keep up the time pressure, because I do have a time advantage. And the next order is of business, probably to get my rooks onto the open files, or the semi-open files, I suppose. Or actually, no, this isn't an open file at all, but this is a semi-open file because there are no pawns on it. Wait, is it a semi-open file if there are no pawns in it, or no pieces on it? I'm pretty sure that it's a semi-open file if there are no pawns on it, even if there's a piece on it. So yeah. I mean, this is going to be one of those games where I'm going to have to convert a pawn advantage into, hopefully, a win. So we'll see if I can do that. But it's definitely not guaranteed. Especially because he has such a strong outpost of his own right here. If he can just get his knight to it. In fact, if I had to guess, I'd say that he's probably going to play why am I blanking? Oh, okay, well, never mind. I thought he was going to push a5, giving this up so that he can get his knight in there, but I guess he didn't want to do that. What was the point of this move? I really want to figure it out before I move forward. Is he trying to do anything? Is he trying to swing over anywhere? I'm not sure I see where he would be trying to move. Hmm. I mean, half of me wants to push f5 right now. The other half of me wants to play rook c8. And I'm not sure which side of me I'm going to listen to, in all honesty. I think that rook c8 is the more no-nonsense move, so let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. I don't really see the entire point of f5, because I'm not threatening g5 or anything like that. Because I can't trap his bishop, because after f5, I can't actually play g5, because that would be, well, hanging upon. Now, if he puts anything on the dark square over here, then I do have an excuse to play bishop h6, which I do want to play, to activate my dark squared bishop. In fact, maybe I play bishop h6 no matter what. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, maybe I see... No. By the way, on the next move, I know that I talked about how strong this knight is, but I'm actually considering playing knight to e4 so that he has to move his knight, making it more difficult for him to, in the future, get his knight to c6. Yeah. I want to make it as difficult as possible for him to get to this square. Because if he gets his knight to that square, then I might be in a world of hurt. Oh, he moves it on his own accord. Why? Where is he trying to get to? I suppose... Oh, he's trying to get there. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Attacking both of these pawns simultaneously. However, I can just move this knight, and then I'm actually stopping that idea. Oh, I have a sneaky idea. Oh, wait, if I move this knight here, then is he just going to push? He might just push this pawn. But I really don't want to move my knight backwards, is the thing. So I think that I'm going to play here, and if he does push this pawn, then I will go back over to this square. So let's do that. Let's do that. So now he cannot play knight here so easily. And I'm going to play f5 on the next move, most likely, so that I'm threatening g5. Oh, actually, I'm not. Yeah, it's g5, f4, trapping his bishop. But either way, I want to play f5. Okay, he does kick me out. Slightly annoying. Obviously, I'm not going to go back here because that would give him the move he wanted anyway. So instead of that, looks like I'm going to be forced to... Actually, is it the end of the world if he gets there? I know that he'd be double attacking my pawns. Yeah, no, I really can't let him get there, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go here. Oh, I really didn't want to make this move. But I have to. I have to. Yeah, my next move, by the way, is probably going to be bishop h6. Forcing his knight somewhere, unfortunate for him. Because he doesn't really have any good squares to jump it to unless he moves it right now. And unfortunately... Oh, he just trades. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. So he's claiming that his bishop is a lot stronger than mine. I mean, his knight is stronger than my bishop. Which honestly might be fair. I'm not totally sure. Because my bishop is a little bit dead. I'll have to activate it via g5 for it to be of any use. Then maybe I'll even be able to stick it here. Okay, so now he's being dangerous. Now his plan is to move his knight to here, and then I can't recapture obviously because of his rook. Yeah, that was a good move. I'll give him that. Yeah, that's actually incredibly annoying. In fact, can I deal with it so easily at all? I mean, I really don't want to have to use a rook to defend these pawns. Um, you know what? Here, that does not work. Then, I mean, I could like takes, check, moves, and then claim I have a super strong bishop, but that looks like it isn't worth it in the end. So I can't play that. Yeah, I think opponent made a very good move just now. So instead of all that, I think that I'm going to play here so that I can just defend both pawns after all that. And then I'll play here. I'll try to maneuver my bishop to this square somehow. But for now, I think I have to defend these pawns. Oh, or I can move up here. So that after this, I can take here. Oh, that looks really good, actually. Here. Then I'll... Oh, I can't actually take here because it's defended. And I can't take there because that would give him this fork. So never mind. That plan fails tactically. Instead, I will move my rook to defend one of the pawns. I guess he's going to go there no matter what now. If he doesn't put his knight there, then I probably will actually... Okay, he does, of course. I mean, that's the move he wanted to play anyway. Now I can play here, attacking this pawn. And if he takes here, then I actually take here. And then his knight is kind of forced back. And then I can force the trade of the rooks. But after all that, I should still be up a pawn. Yeah, this is very confusing. Actually, I'm not going to lie. There's no chance that I'm going to play rook to b8. Because that basically immobilizes my entire army for the sake of a single pawn, which I don't want to do. So I think that I will end up playing here. So I'll play here, takes. Oh, the issue is he goes here, and then he has a double attack on this pawn. But as I said, I can go up, forcing the rook trade. No, it isn't forced, though, because he can play up here. Okay, wait. This is getting very confusing. Here, takes. Goes back. Then I go up. He can play rook to h there. Then... Wait, but anytime that he takes this pawn, he gives away this. You know what? Let's dive into the fire. This might be losing, but if it's losing, all it's losing me is the pawn advantage. It can't be losing me any more than the pawn advantage, so I can't think of a better move to make. So let's just do it. Let's just do it. And I think that he has to take, because otherwise I'm just going to take his pawn, right? Like, I don't see... Yeah, okay, so he does take. Then I go here, of course. Then I assume he goes back. And now I'm forgetting the line that I... Oh, yeah, I go up. That's what it was. And then we'll calculate from there, I suppose. But I did spend a considerable chunk of time on that move, which I don't like, and I'm not even sure it was a good move. Which makes me like it even less. Okay, now we play up. The big threat is this. Well, let's do it anyway. Let's do it anyway. Because even if he plays this, to get my pawn, he'll have to give up this one. I believe, because I'm gonna end up playing e4. E4 then takes, and then I'll win this pawn hopefully. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie if I'm not I'm not going to lie and say I'm not scared, because I am definitely scared. Because yeah, this could lean any way right now, and I am not loving the fact that his knight is overpowering my bad bishop. But I'll make it active soon enough, don't worry. Now, in my dream world, he would take this. I don't think that there's any chance that he actually does take it, but I would be very happy if he did, because that would make my life so much simpler. Now, he's probably going to play rook to a5, which I do think is a good move. And then he'll probably take with the knight. And then he will play the knight to c6. Wow. Yeah, so he's really playing on his strengths. But at the same time, my pawns are more centralized than his, so maybe I'll be able to get a push going if I can ever dislodge this. In fact, yeah, no, if he ever moves this rook over here, maybe there's some world where I can force him to give up the d pawn. I don't see how that would happen just yet, but definitely something to think about. And yeah, e4 is coming almost inevitably, because I can't give his minor piece all the power, can I? By the way, after e4 takes, it looks like he can pin me, but it actually doesn't work because I move back to c3, and I actually defend my rook. So that doesn't work for him. And opponent is spending a think. I appreciate that because it is an important moment. And I definitely don't want opponent splitzing out moves when it's crucial, because that would make me feel cheap or unrespected. And by the way, even if he does get his knight to c6, it looks like the future battle is going to be on the king side, so I'm not sure how valuable it would even be. It would probably be pretty annoying, but how annoying? It'll have to be seen to be believed. And I promise I will cut the video if opponent doesn't make a move by the time it's 5 minutes, so if that doesn't happen, clap. Okay. If you're still here, okay. If you're still here, something like that happened, so let's just take. And now we have a minute advantage, which doesn't mean too much, but it makes me happy. It makes me feel warm inside, so that's something, right? Okay, that's a good move. He locked it down so that I didn't have e4. I'm thinking about even just bringing my king, right? Like, because actually, is it worth playing e4 just to open up the board a little bit and then get my my bishop in over here? It might be. It might be. But I think that first I have to bring my king over. So let's just do this. Oh, or should I? No, I can't claim this open diagonal because then I just lose a pawn. King here. I assume he's going to go here. And I can't go here because of the check. But here, if he plays rook over here, that would be a little bit dangerous. But I am in time to save my pawn after... Oh, no, I don't even have to save my pawn because I can play e4. Okay, so yeah, king here is the move. And then, by the way, worth noting, I'm not going to lose to the fork and play king to e7 blindly after he plays knight a5, knight a6, forking me. So I'm not going to let that happen. Don't worry. That is something I would do, though. Unintentionally, of course. And yeah, we are up a pawn, but I think that it's probably equal right now. Maybe a slight advantage, but I really don't want to say anything major because my bishop is so weak that it might even be better for white. Who knows? Unless he lets me activate it, I would be very happy about that. He's been very good about not letting me activate my bishop all game. And by the way, why was I talking about playing e5 then taking on b2? That's defended. Forget I said that. Okay. Well, I don't think that was the best move because now I actually get to activate my king. So let's just play it because I am up on time. Now, I'm not going to lose to the fork again. Don't worry. Now my rook is free though. So on the next move, if he actually even if he plays knight a5 right now, I'll probably play rook to a8, and then after the check, I'll just bring my king even more centralized, and then I'll probably So he does play rook a8 himself. But didn't I say that I had this? So then if he attacks my pawn, then I just take, right? So let's just do this. Oh, but what if this and then check? What if this and then check? Then I can't really block because... Actually, I could block. Here, check. I block with my rook. Takes. I guess I'll recapture this pawn. And then it'll be an equal endgame. A totally equal endgame. Do I want to let that happen? Probably not. Here, check. Sorry, check. I can just play king to 8. No, but then he still takes this pawn. You know what? Let's settle for an equal endgame where I'm not paranoid about blundering things. Let's do it. Sometimes you have to settle just a little bit. I do believe that giving this check equalizes the game for black. Sorry, for white. After this combination of moves. So yeah, it looks like he is going to do it. And I don't know if this is good for me or bad for me, but I don't think that it's terrible. And this is probably drawn, if I had to guess. Now, let's just absolutely centralize this bishop, making sure that I'm not giving into any forks, and I'm not, so let's just play the move. And I think this is a draw. Now, it probably won't be a draw in practice, but in theory, I'm sure this is almost definitely a draw. Okay. I mean, I could offer a draw, but I doubt I'll take it, so I might not even bother. Okay, let's bring my bishop back so that my pawn is defended. I don't have to worry about moving my king. He might push this pawn. If he doesn't, I'll play f6. Maybe I should have played f6 first, actually. In fact, I almost definitely should have played f6 first to stop e5. He doesn't play it, though. Wait, this is getting a little bit iffy. If he can somehow reroute his knight to put a double attack on this. You know what? Wait, how do I proceed? If I play here, then I'll probably push this pawn, then after takes, I'll give a check, I'll go up. Nothing is gained, but nothing is really lost. I think f6 is probably the safest move, so let's just make that move. Wait, he doesn't know it, he does not have that check, so let's play f6. That's again stopping e5. But I mean, this is obviously fully equal. I probably had a better move than trading rooks and allowing equality. I'm going to offer a draw because I don't really want to try to win a totally drawn position, but I doubt that I'll take it. In the meantime, let's look for the best move that I can find. And I really can't find anything. Maybe king to e7 just... No... I think king to c7... actually no. Here, maybe I... My biggest worry is, oh, he drew by agreement. And I'm sure it's... Oh, it's not drawn! Wow! It's winning for white. Yeah, king to c7 was the best move. So that is probably what I would have ended up playing, but I'm very happy that my opponent agreed to the draw because it was plus 0.8 for white. Oh, you can't see that yet, probably. I'll say GG. And we do gain 1 elo. I know that you guys hate draws, but, I mean, if I can finagle a draw from a position where I was down 0.8 in eval in an endgame, I'll take it. So let's see the game review, and we're going to analyze this. Pretty rare that there are draws, but this was a pretty decent game. I had a brilliant move, apparently. I have no idea. Oh, it's probably when I took with the knight. So let's see what the estimated elos were. Opponent was estimated at 2,000. I was estimated at 1950. And let's just run through the game. So yeah, no blunders by either of us, but I did make quite a few mistakes. So this is all perfectly valid, of course. All perfect. Yeah, this is all book. He did make an inaccuracy, but I didn't punish it well because I've never seen a4 there. And what should I have done? Oh, I should have played knight to h4. I suppose that this is double fanged. Actually no, I suppose that the main reason that you want to play this is to push f5, which makes total sense. Or if they play that, obviously you can change things up a little bit. But yeah, okay, so I did mess up, which makes sense. And then he makes a mistake, which allows me to take, and then taking is a mistake because I have this brilliant move, which I am happy that I saw, but I momentarily thought was a blunder. What I was afraid of was takes, and then takes with check. Then I thought that takes, and then he had takes, but what I failed to realize was that he actually has to take my queen first, and then I take here. So instead of that happening, opponent just takes. Obviously, I have to take the queen. Every other move is totally losing. Yeah. And then I just, obviously, that's forced. And now, black has a slight advantage. Pretty much just +1 for black because I have up 1 pawn. So let's see, I play bishop e7, that works. I reroute, this is working great. I take, he has double pawns, phenomenal. This is where I made it an error, though, because I was afraid of him locking down, but in reality, what I did was much more restrictive than him. And I should have pushed this pawn, giving my bishop scope while I still had the chance, because as we saw in the game, I was just absolutely brutalized by the fact that my bishop had no vision. Instead of that, I pushed. Instructive move, instructive mistake. Again, I should have pushed. And I missed. Okay, that's another mistake. I was worried about letting his knight in, but I retreated to I went to the wrong square. I should have gone here, which does make more sense because it puts defense on this anyway. What happens if he just goes like this, though? Oh, then I should have played rook c5 earlier. Then if he plays this, then he's just losing to takes on b5. Makes sense. Instead of that, I do this. Then he trades, which I thought was a good move, but apparently it's a mistake. Okay, and I missed rook to c5, and I totally see why that's a good move, because, I mean, you are disallowing knight to c4 without the loss of a... Oh, wait, I thought... Oh, never mind, he can play knight c4. Then I just defend this, but doesn't he just take here still? Then I take on b5. Then he goes back, and it looks like he has some serious pressure, but... What happens if he just... does this? Okay, so I guess this is good for me. I totally missed this line. Interesting to see, but I totally missed it. Instead, I made a mistake, and I basically blundered almost full equality. Then I find rook c5, ironically, after it was not as good. I was afraid of losing this pawn, but I don't know why I was afraid of losing it, because... Wait, it wants me to play h5. Doesn't that lose to takes like this? No, because I first kick away his knight and then I take here. But what if he defends his knight? Oh, then I force b3 anyway, and then I just take b3. Okay, fair enough. Interesting to see. Then he takes, and now it's just fully equal. I blundered my advantage. Yeah, then e4 there was a big mistake because I allowed him to do a7 check. I thought that I was fine after that, but apparently white's better after that. Instead, I should have just gone right back to where I came from. That's kind of sad. And then, yeah, I mean, this is just a fully drawn position. Once we even play this, but doesn't that just allow takes? What? Okay, I mean, this is just a dead draw, it looks like. But I'm sure that I would find a way to blunder this. Why is it wanting me to sack every single pawn that I have? It really wants me to sack. Oh, but I guess I win the pawn back no matter what. Okay, well, anyway, I obviously missed that line because I did not even remotely get close to playing it. Instead, not that. Instead, I allow a7. He gives it. I should have gone back, but now it's just better for white, actually. And I should have gone straight to b2. I thought that c5 was a better square for me, but I guess not. Yeah. I guess that I just had much more scope on c3, but I liked the fact that my bishop was defending the d6 pawn from any knight captures. Anyway, this happens. I made a mistake, which he did not punish. Wait, why is this such a bad move? Because of knight a5. Why? King c7. And I guess he's just getting in slowly but surely, but what happens if I just go like over here, for example? Well, I guess he is still just like getting in, like slowly but surely, then he's going to just break me down over a long period of time. Instead, though, wait. Yeah. Instead, though, I should have played king here, but doesn't that still allow this? I guess it does allow that, but I guess that white literally is just better. And I need to make some counterplay, so takes. And then king c4, and he's going to be winning that pawn pretty soon. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to try to push this pawn, but I mean, just as simple as takes. And then obviously I'm not going to recapture that, but f5, then he can stop this really easily. So opponent was winning, and he missed it. So yeah, f6 was a terrible move. But to be fair, my move was not very good. The best move was still like +1 for white. So f6 was bad, but I mean, pretty much everything was bad for me. And then we agreed to a draw, which thank the chess lords out there. So I'll catch you tomorrow. We were still at 1650, well, 1653, I suppose. And have a great night, even though it's technically morning.